what people are considering as in terms of their most important feature area. And this is a little bit maybe of a surprise to me based on what we've seen in previous surveys of our users. But that the hottest button seems to be multi-protocol support. So being able to support data access from the parallel file system standard, enterprise file access, object access, and perhaps others into the same data pool. So maybe talking to Tommy again, just in terms of how you currently manage that at TAC. I know you have also multiple pools of different layers of storage, and in terms of the data access patterns, how is that being handled?
This is actually an important feature that our users really want to get. So, our users are our customers, and these are one of the demands. Being able to access data from multiple different platforms. Whether they're doing the simulation on maybe an HPC platform, maybe the analytics on a GPU-based system. They may not be the actual same exact system. We have different systems that have different funding provided to them. So, we have things. We've solved this in one way in terms of using some Lustre and LNet routing to be able to do the support on multiple different platforms. However, we do have some things that we can't run Lustre on, and so we do provide some NFS mounts, some Samba mounts. We haven't done anything with the S3 directly, but it's an option that we've actually started pursuing on Frontera. We have some cloud funds available for our users as part of the Frontera project, where they can keep data in the cloud, and we can give them some credits to provide that. So being able to provide these it's more of a convenience from our point of view. Unfortunately, some of these multi-protocols, you don't always get the performance out of them, but it is pretty nice just to be able to point and click at your file on whatever platform you might be on to easily access it and use it. I did notice that the administrative simplicity is also an important factor from this too. I think some of the users were probably answering that they want multi-protocol support, whereas the admins were answering that they wanted simplicity on the administrative side. So.
Yeah, and so certainly on the administrative simplicity side, maybe I'll get Craig or Charlie to also talk here. I know both DDN and NVIDIA are pursuing increasing amounts of simplification in terms of being able to deploy and manage these really large systems. And we're probably seeing a transition in the data intensive market, right? For folks who, where again, the emphasis is more on administrative simplicity than it has historically been, maybe on all out performance or all out scale, with some of those things maybe being addressed better today than the administrative simplicity part. So
actually, I have a short comment to that, Kurt. That is that I would sort of reverse it a little bit, in the sense that the demand for complex systems to be managed has increased as our workflows are more complex and more users are using it. But the number of people that you can have to support it stays the same. Mm-hmm. That means that something has to become simpler, and that is the administrative part. And I think our basic systems have become much more mature than they were 20 years ago. 20 years ago, in places like TAC, there were people who were building systems, but we don't have time to do that anymore because our customers want complicated things on top of these. So we need the storage to work, the CPUs to work, the interconnect, it just needs to work. So that's...
And I would like to add something here, which I think it's a pretty appropriate time to add that. I'm not sure if people have actually tried lately an SFAOS upgrade, and we've made significant enhancements in terms of cutting down upgrade times of individual system, starting at a certain level. So we have a lot of customers that are on older releases, but if you are on, going to an 11.8.3 release, which is the 11.8.2, which is the latest out, and the upcoming 11.8.3, there is massive reductions in upgrade time and also complexity. And so we continuously striving in that direction to make it as easy as possible for customers to constantly stay up to date to latest releases without having any significant impact. And as I also stated before, Red is really trying to drive this to an even higher level of end user satisfaction and simplicity. And that's what we're really focusing on.
And to also get Craig or Charlie, what are NVIDIA's thoughts in terms of, just out and out administrative simplicity and the tools that you're providing customers to be able to facilitate that?
Yeah, with our DGX SuperPod, the Selene system that we've talked about so far, we're going for the maximum performance. So that idea of where we pair the DDN X5 with the DGX SuperPod has matched really well. And that's great when you're trying to truly optimize a specific code for the best performance you can as a capability system. With that being said, real work requires multiple steps in that workflow. It's not just about that training step. It's not just about that HPC step. So we need to look at how these other components fit together. Users can't always fit into the design that we had. And so they ask us for how do we move data? How do we access our data from other systems? How do we do things outside of the data center that is what the DGX SuperPod is? And so that becomes a challenge, and that's where multi-protocol support and other of those features become really critical. So we do want simplicity, because we have even for a very large system, we have a very small IT staff that takes care of this and has multiple day jobs. But with that being said, we still need to meet the needs of the users. Just because you see a chip manufacturer, effectively, somebody who makes the really fast accelerators, our system still has all the requirements that any other HPC site has. People stare at utilization numbers. People want to know the system is being used. People have to answer for what they've done. And that's even from the user's aspect too. So we need to make sure things are as efficient as possible. With that means we may have to make the system more complex to enable the users to do what they need to do to keep the system fully utilized.
Cool. Yeah.